Hi, how are we doing? I'm doing great because today we're talking about everything I watched in March. And it isn't the longest list, but it is a lot of things I'm very excited about. And hey, actually watch movies this month. Aren't you proud of me? Anyway, let's just delve into things with the seasons I watched this month. Starting off with Angel season 5, which I gave out of 5 stars to. Aren't you proud of me? I finally finished the Buffyverse. Although it is extremely sad for me. I don't know what to do with my life right now. But Angel last season adored it, which is so good because Angel season 4 was dog shit. But I'm very glad that this final season kind of redeemed itself and overall ended the Buffyverse on a really high note for me. So something I really liked about the season, it kind of felt like a return to form for the Buffyverse, where it just kind of a bit more silly, not taking itself too seriously, very much focusing on kind of like the villain of the week kind of format, which is something we hadn't gotten in a while. And I feel like especially in Angel was kind of dragging the show a little bit down. So I really enjoyed getting that in here. We also have a change of scenery for the season, which I thought was really fun. And then the grander storylines also thought were pretty well executed. The next I watched 56 Days season 1, which I gave 4 5 stars to. I am not going to lie and say that this got on my radar in any other way than that the fact that Kevin and Evan Joker star in this. That's the main reason. That's honestly also the only reason I feel like I haven't heard much of it about the show outside of that. But hey, I'm very glad I checked it out because this is not my typical thing, and maybe that's why I also haven't seen that much about it because it's far from my typical show. But I actually had a really fun time watching this. I thought it was actually really well executed. It was a very well-paced kind of mystery storyline, and I did a great job kind of like building the tension and like keeping you watching. Like I binged through this almost fully in one sitting because that's just how compelling of a watch it was. I do have to say this show kind of has a past and present storyline, and the present storyline, although I get the purpose of it, I thought was really boring, and every time we were in those scenes I wasn't that interested. Then next we have FC the Computer season 12, which was a rewatch that I gave 4 to 5 stars to. As you might know, they're doing reruns of the show on TV, and that's how I'm getting through the show. So it's going like, I'm not picking the pace that television is. I'm having a good time. This is just a show that I've watched all my life, so I don't really care about it. But this season, a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun episodes, a couple iconic ones, but like nothing like too special stand out. Then we have Convoy season 8. This is a really fun new show that I would really recommend if you haven't seen it yet. This is a road trip quiz kind of thing, different families, and I had a really fun time with it. I do, in previous video I already talked about how definitely at the beginning I wasn't too crazy about it, but week by week this definitely grew on me, and by the ending I generally like had my teams I was rooting for, and just I think this was just a really fun, like kind of wholesome time. I have Boyfriend on Demand, which is a limited series which I gave 4 to 5 stars to. Look at me watching a K-drama again. It's been so long. Like a little while back I was really into K-dramas and like starting to get into it. I feel like I'm still definitely at the starting stages, but for some reason it's been like on hold for a really long time. But this is a new one that came out on Netflix, and I've seen some good things about it, so I was very curious to watch it. And now I'm definitely, I feel like I need to get back into things, so hopefully you'll see that over the upcoming months. But this one was a lot of fun. I definitely liked the main romance in it a lot. I thought it was really cute, and the romance aspect of it was definitely my favorite part of it. But kind of like the special thing about the show is that it also has like VR dating in it, which I thought was fun and like a bit of like a kooky twist to things. But I do think it could have delved into a little bit more about like the harms of these kind of things, because even though it's like not the kind of show fully about that, I get that, but like it does like hint towards it so much, but then like it never really goes there, and that just kind of felt disappointing to me, if that makes sense. Then I watched Finding Her Edge season 1, which I gave 1 of 5 stars to. I really wanted to like this. This is one again that I've seen quite a lot about. It came out in January, I believe, like very like towards the start of the year, and I saw a lot of things about it, so I was very curious to check it out. A lot of people said that it wasn't like the highest quality, but a lot of fun. It didn't deliver for me at all, because I don't think anything in this delivered at all. The acting was bad, the writing is bad, the storyline is so incredibly rushed, which just, I don't know, makes it impossible to be attached to anything. And I don't know, I really wasn't a fan. The only reason I finished it is because I put this on while I had a lot of shit to do, and it's a perfect background show. But if there's gonna be a second season, I definitely won't be checking it out because it's not good. Then we have The Dag van Vandaag season 5. This is a like daily quiz kind of show, and I don't really have that much to say about it besides the fact that I enjoy watching it year after year. This season had a lot of kind of like themed episodes, which I really liked. I think they're always a lot of fun, and they had the right amount where it's like a good few, but like not too many. So I really liked it. And then lastly, for the seasons watched this month, we have The Books season 1. I loved it. This is one of my new favorite shows. This was the first season and I instantly became hooked to it. It's so much fun and I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. I feel like everything from like the different tasks that the contestants have to do are great, and then like the red box that's introduced, which is kind of like a way to cheat in a sense, that made this so tension filled and had me so hooked. And I also think the hosting duo is brilliantly put together, like very well matched, and add like that extra dynamic to the show. And I just, everything about this is just really well thought out and great, and I had such a good time with this, and I'm so sad it's over, and I really hope a second season is on the horizon. And then we get into my currently watching, which like always is the longest list. I don't know how this keeps happening, but first one you're gonna be very excited about, because this month I started watching Jessica Jones season 2. Yes, I'm back in my Defenders verse era. If you don't know, I tried to watch the Defenders universe, which are the Netflix Marvel shows, which now aren't on Netflix anymore, but they were made by Netflix. I was trying to do it before Daredevil Born Again season 1 came out, which, if you don't know, at the end of March season 2 came out. So I was very behind on things, but I wasn't really having the best time with this with these shows, so I kind of took a little bit of a break. But I'm back, baby. Now that the Buffyverse is over, I really focus on that and I'm done with that. I feel like I have to get this done, and Jessica Jones was my favorite from the shows that I've seen, at least the first season, so I was very excited to come to the second season. And a rough start, but I am very intrigued by this so far. Then we have As the Computer season 13, which was a rewatch. Only one episode of this has aired so far, which was fun, but I have had a little look-see-loo at what's coming up, and there's some really great episodes this season, so I'm so excited for the rest. Then we have Florentina season 8. I feel like I'm liking the show less and less as it goes on, and I've never been like the biggest fan of it, but I feel like there's so many things in its construction that aren't working for me. I don't necessarily think it's badly written or badly made, but there's just something about it that's disconnecting with me, and I don't know what it is. Here we have Welcome to LA season 8. I'm one episode behind on this, so I'm so sorry, but this is really fun. But like always, a show like this is just as good as kind of like the guest that's in it as well, but overall I do think this is a lot of fun to watch. Then we have Ik Vraag Het Aan season 3, a fun music show with great stories that show you how impactful music can be, so I always really like it. Then we have The Artful Dodger season 2. Yes, I'm still watching The Artful Dodger season 2. I told you I wanted to savor it. I'm doing it. In a point that is kind of frustrating to me a little bit, because I am kind of annoyed that I haven't finished it, but then also I'm like, I need the perfect moment to watch an episode, and I'm halfway through right now and I'm loving it, so that's all you need to know. Then we have Expeditie Gorillas season 5. Fun, but I don't really get why they split it into parts, because right now I'm caught up fully and it stopped and we don't know when the rest is gonna come, but technically I'm still in the middle because the season isn't done. Then we have Geen Paniek season 8. Again, really fun show and very different from what I was kind of expecting from it, but I do think it handles talking about phobias and like general like mental health issues sometimes really well in combination with like the comedy that comes from Familiar Pupils. I think that combination is really well done. Then we have Kom Eten season 3. I have to say, I feel like this season feels a bit messy. I feel like the other seasons had like every week was had a very clear team and everything, but now the people that are thrown together just feel so random and aren't always the greatest match. Sorry, not sorry. Then we have His and Hers, which is a limited series. I have to admit to you, the reason why I watched so many 2026 releases in March is because there have been a couple that have been on my radar for a while and kind of will have a kind of like decision, what do you call it? Decision paralyzation, if that makes sense. So you can decide because there's too many options, and it's kind of like the issue I had here. So what I did is watch the first episode of His and Hers, 56 Days, Boyfriend on Demand, and Finding Her Edge, and then I continued with all of those, and I went with His and Hers, which is I wanted because I think His and Hers was like my second favorite from the first episodes, but you know, just kind of had a cookie crumbles. But I really like this first episode. I'm very excited to continue on with it, which I was very surprised by because I read the book in February. I wasn't a fan, so I'm already liking the show much more, and kind of like the changes they made have me intrigued. Then we finally have Voices Beyond Waverly Place season 2. Again, I've only watched one episode because I do watch this with my mom, so it always goes a little bit slower when I want to watch things on my own. But finally, finally, I feel like this has aired in the US like a while ago, and we finally got it towards the end of March on Disney Plus, and I'm so excited to continue on with it because I do think it's really fun. And Voices of Waverly Place was my favorite of the Disney shows back in the day, so very excited about this. And then most excitedly we have, well, not most excited, but we have Café de Mol season 8. This is kind of like a talkback show for the mall, and yeah, this is just a bonus I watch for The Mole season 15, which is my favorite show of all time. If you don't know, I love it so much. I don't like any of the remakes, so don't come at me. I only like the Belgian version, which is the original. And this season is already promising. Only one episode and crazy twist up to wazoo, and I'm very excited about it. And we're getting into the movies I watched this month. Don't get too excited. There's 5 of them. 3 of them are actual movies, but like nothing too difficult. But we're gonna start with Barbie, which came in 2023, and I gave 5 out of 5 stars to. This got aired on TV actually at the beginning of March, and I watched it together with my mom, and it's the first time I watched this. I hadn't seen this before, and I feel like I'm the last person on earth to have not seen this, especially because I grew up watching Barbie movies. That was my shit as a kid, so it's a total surprise that I hadn't gotten around to watching this until now, but I loved it. To no one's surprise, I very much spoke to like that little kid who was obsessed with Barbie movies within me, so that's all. I got very, very emotional as well watching this movie, and it's like, it was a moment. And we have Harry Styles One Night in Manchester, which comes in 2026. I thought it was just a lot of fun. I was a bit hesitant about it because I'm not the craziest about Cause All the Time Disco Occasion. I do really like the album, but I don't love it, if that makes sense. So I was a bit nervous about this, but I thought it was a really fun performance. It definitely didn't change my mind on any of the songs, but it was kind of fun seeing all of the different elements that go into these songs physically represented on stage, and just overall Harry's vibe as a performer is incredible. That came through even through the screen. So I had a good time with this. Then I have Pitch Perfect, which comes in 2012, was a rewatch I gave 5 out of 5 stars to. You can blame TikTok for this one because for some reason my algorithm lately has been filled with videos about Pitch Perfect, and I won't complain, but therefore I did put on this movie, and I had such a good time with this. I don't know, I feel like I was the exact right age to be completely obsessed with Pitch Perfect when it came out, and I just feel like it is so iconic, especially the soundtrack of the first movie. Like, these musical numbers I know by heart, but like even just like generally the plot and everything, I just have such a good time with this. Is this a masterpiece? No, but yes, if that makes sense. And then of course I also watched Pitch Perfect 2, which came out in 2015. It was a rewatch I give 4 out of 5 stars to. I just have to immediately watch 2 after 1. I don't know, I always plan to just watch the first one and then I finish it and I just click through to the second one, because how could you not? You know? And I really like this one as well. I do think it's not as good as the first one, but I do still think it is like very strong. It just kind of feels like 2 very succinct parts. I feel like they could have done a better job of like blending the 2 things. But I have to say the finale in this is my favorite Pitch Perfect number ever, which I know is a little bit unpopular, but the way it's all put together with like especially with like the staging and the costuming and like everything about it just makes me so emotional every single time when I cry like a baby, and it almost makes me want to watch Pitch Perfect 3, which is not a good movie, so that says a lot. Then lastly we have Hannah Montana the 20th anniversary special, which comes in 2026, and this was a disappointment, which I feel like it was for a lot of people. At least from what I've seen online, I feel like a lot of people were very disappointed by this. But for me, even though I do think it definitely had some really strong moments and there were a lot of parts in it that I liked, I kind of felt like this was more a Miley Cyrus celebration rather than a Hannah Montana celebration, if that makes sense. And I feel like it was, I get Miley being the focal point of Hannah Montana special. Obviously that show is like 90% her, but I just feel like it didn't really feel like a celebration of the show, if that makes sense, because so much felt missing from it. Kind of just felt more like a celebration of like the character, or like, if that makes sense. I don't know. And that's kind of like, I feel like that's also where this was disappointing to a lot of people, that we expected a celebration of the show, really. And I will say, something I have been watching, which I think is a great celebration of Hannah Montana the show, is Best of Both Worlds, which is a podcast which is co-run by Jason Earls, who plays Jackson in the show. I think that's great so far. We've only had 3 episodes by the time I'm filming this, and generally it isn't like a rewatch podcast, but they do like go over episodes and stuff, like, and things happening behind the scenes and stuff like that, and I think it's really fun, it's really interesting, and it generally feels more like a love letter to the show. Well, this special kind of felt more like a love letter to the character, and it makes sense, that this distinction. That is everything that I have for you that I watched in the month of March. Let me know in the comments if you watched any of these things, what you thought of them, as well as some of the favorite things you watched in March, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Good, bye.